do is get x on its own in each question. So you have a over x minus b equals c. The way I do this is I give them all the same denominator. So what can I do here? X and on here. Okay. My next line is a minus bx equals cx. Anything with the letter I want has to go onto one side. So what do I do with the bx? And I get cx plus bx. Factorize out the what? And we get left with c plus b or b plus c, whatever you want to call it. And finally, how do we get the x on its own? It's multiplication on the left will make a division on the right. All right, that's junior cert stuff right there, okay? So we're going to move on. Is that all right? Awesome. Actually, maybe not. Try part 2 before we move on. Probably most of us have it done already. 3 top and bottom. 3's cancel. 3z equals y minus 2x. Bring the 2x to the left, the 3z to the right. 2x equals y minus 3z. X equals y minus 3z over 2. Happy days? All right. Question 4. All right. A circle of radius r is drawn. Find the area of circle A. Well, we all know that, don't we? What's the formula for area of a circle? Happy days. Find the area of the square in terms of r. Now that's an interesting one. Handy enough. What can I do with the radius? What can I can just rotate it. And what happens when I rotate it? Half the length of the square. So double it to get 2r. So that's 2r there and 2r there. So what's the area? 4r squared, right? That's handy enough. 4r squared. Hence, find the expression for the area of the shaded region. So what's the area of the shaded region? The square take away there. So what you get? 4r squared take away. You could write it like this if you want, but it's your call. Whichever one you want. Done. If the side of the square is doubled while the radius of the circle is halved, find an expression for the shaded area. What does that mean? Like what visually what happened? The square got bigger, and what happened to the circle? What are you expecting about the area now? It's going to be much bigger, isn't it? So, oh, that's a bloody pentagon. There you go. All right. What's the radius? What's the length this time? It was 2r, now it's. And what's the radius? R over 2. All right. Let's try this again then. Are we on part C? Is it? We're on D. That's C. That's D. All right. What's the area of the square this time? 4r times 4r. 16r. Okay, what about the radius? What about the pi r over 2 squared? What's that going to be? All right, done. Handy enough, was it? If a circle is circumscribed around the original square, prove that the area of the outer disk is twice the area of the inner disk. Anybody have any idea how you do that? Right, go back to your original diagram. So it says the original diagram, okay? So we go back to our original diagram and start in the middle. Okay, now, yeah, I'm just going to chop this and move it first, okay? Just 1 second. Just want to chop this diagram here. Front page. edge. Oh dear, that's a bit on the large side. All right, it's going to bring this down here. Now, what you do if you're asked to circumscribe the round, what does circumscribe the round mean? Huh? Yeah, if you guys are using a compass to do this, if you're doing your leaving cert, you guys would actually have to use a compass to do this. So you could do it like this, really quickly. You just grab that, and you bring it to one of the corners, like so. Bam, like so. Is that all right? And then once you have that done, then you just whip the circle around, and that is circumscribed right there. Okay, all right, all good. Now, the real question is, what is the radius of the new circle? That's the problem. There lies the issue. Anybody know how to get the radius of the new circle? Come on. Involves Pythagoras' theorem. How'd you do it? This is R, that's R, and what you're looking for is you want the hypotenuse. So we'll call the hypotenuse X. So X squared equals R squared plus X squared equals, it does. X equals square root the other side, root 2 R. Any questions? All right, reread the question. What does it want from me? The circle is circumscribed around the original square. Prove that the area of the outer disk is twice the area of the inner disk. What's the area of the inner disk again? Now, what's the area of this outer disk going to be? Pi times radius squared. As long as when you square that, pi times 2r squared, which is 2 pi r. It's twice the outer disk. Is that okay? All right. Question. If I had this, for example, if I had t equals 2 pi root x, let's say, and I squared both sides, it'd be t squared equals 2 pi root x by 2 pi root x. And then the 2 pi's multiplied by 2 pi to give you 4 pi squared, and the root x by the root x just gives you x. Expand that to having a fraction instead, where you have L over G, okay, like so. And what will happen is the L over G will just appear out of the bracket, it will appear outside the square root. So it's going to be, it'll be 2 pi root L over G times 2 pi root L over G. A square root multiplied by the same square root just releases the square root sign. 2 pi times 2 pi is 4 pi squared. That gets your t squared there. You want L on its own, so G is division on the right, which makes a multiplication on the left, and the 4 pi squared goes underneath, leaving L on its own. All you need to do next, guys, is replace T with 3 and G with 10, and you should be good to go. Did anybody get an answer correct to one decimal place? 2.3 meters? All right, good to go. You guys are now on to question 8. Yeah. Should be handy enough, guys. Move on to 10 when you're done. All right, lads, there's the two answers for question 8. I just want to check them. Then follow up with 12. Anytime you see a square root, square both sides. D squared equals A minus B all over AC. All right, this one's really easy. D squared AC equals A minus B. Bring down the C underneath, it's A minus B over D squared A. You're done. Next one's a bit more difficult. Cross multiply the C minus 1 on the bottom to the top. And you have B into C minus 1 equals 2C minus 1. BC minus B equals 2C minus 1. BC minus 2C equals B plus 1. Factorize out what? And you're left with all over into B plus 1. Now what? B plus 1 over B minus 2 is multiplying on the left, which makes it division on the right. Yes, sir? Here? Oh, what did I do? Give me a second. Oh, sorry, it's B minus 1, isn't it? My bad. So guys, it's B minus 1. Good job, there we go. So B minus 1 over B minus 2, perfect. All right, you're on 12. You're a bit stuck starting off question 12. It's your width plus your length plus another width is 300. Okay, because you only have 3 walls to worry about. So your length on its own is 300 minus 2 times your width. Okay? So essentially you have a rectangle that's W across and 300 minus 2W length by width. To find the area, you just multiply your length by your width. And your area should be 300W, take away 2W squared. Width only, it means you don't have any L's in your answer, you only have W's. Okay. The area is 1,000. So you put this equal to 10,000, sorry. Bring it all to one equation. 2W squared minus 300W plus 10,000 equals 0. You may want to consider the minus B formula. Might be your quicker way out here. A equals 2, B equals minus 300, minus B equals plus 300, C equals 10,000. All right, so it's minus B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC. So minus B is 300. B squared is minus 300. A is 2. C is 10,000. Do you want the positive answer or the negative answer here, guys? Why do you only want the positive answer? Width has to be positive. So the width is 100. Okay, so you got to fill that out here. So that's 2 times 2, 10,000. That's 300. That's plus 300. W equals 100. All right.